Okay, these are instructions for how to install Ubuntu inside Windows operating system. This should work just the same for Windows 7 as it does for Windows XP. So don't worry about the compatibility. Just go ahead and open up your browser and go ahead and search Google for Ubuntu. And it should take you straight to the Ubuntu homepage, but click on the download link to save time, and that'll take you to the download page. You can get 11.04. It is a lot different in my opinion from the other version, 10.04. So I'm going to show you 10.04 instead. But you can experiment with both on your own. The 32-bit version is what you want in most cases, unless you know you have a 64-bit system. Stick with 32-bit. Click on Start Download, and you're going to start downloading the CD. When you're done, you should have this file here, the Ubuntu 10.04 desktop i386 file. It's an ISO file. It's also a disk image file. So if you have Windows 7, you can right-click and burn disk image. As long as you have a blank CD in your drive, it'll burn the image straight to the CD, and you're done. That's all you got to do. However, if you have Windows XP, then let's go back to Google. If you have Windows XP, you're going to need a little extra help, so my recommendation is Magic ISO. Download that. And here's the download link for Magic ISO. You can install that program, and that'll help you burn the image to the CD. Okay, moving on. So after you've managed to burn the CD, you're going to want to go ahead and reinsert it into your CD-ROM drive, and I've already done that. So here it is here. So since you're in Windows, all you got to do is run the setup utility. If you double-click on it, it may not necessarily work. If it doesn't want to start right away, like it's doing here, just go ahead and open a new window, and then double-click Wubi, W-I-B-W-U-B-I. There you go. And then just select yes to the Nazi stupid protection program. And then there's the options. You can do a demo. It's a test drive, so if you want to just see what you're doing before you do anything, make any changes whatsoever, then do the demo. However, if you're going to follow my instructions, then install inside Windows is what you want. Minimum installation is 10 gigabytes, but if you have more space, which this system does not, then it'll have other options here for you to choose from. I recommend 20 gigs to be safe, but for now you should be good to go. So 10 gigabytes free. It's only going to use 6, which is fine, and that gives you a little extra flexibility. Stick with 6 is fine. Shouldn't need anything else. You can pick your own username and then your password, and then click install, and it's going to run, and I'm going to let this finish, and we'll pick it up in a minute. Okay, so now it's done installing, and you're going to see this screen. If you're ready to go, if you need to close programs, go ahead and close programs, but typically you should be able to reboot now. Click finish, and we're going to reboot. And you may notice this is going to be a virtual machine, so anybody who knows what that is, stop making fun of me. There's our BIOS, and it's going to tell us what do we want to boot into, 7 or Ubuntu. So 7 is going to be our normal computer, and Ubuntu obviously is going to be our new installed. We'll give that a go. It's going to be a bunch of Linux nonsense, so just disregard this until we get into more graphical user interface, and you'll see what I'm talking about in a second. So it's not going to ask you for anything here yet. You should be good to go for quite a while. It's going to do most of the work for you. Okay, so it just finished, and I didn't even have enough time to hit the record button before it already rebooted on me. So when it's done, it's going to automatically reboot, and it's going to give you the obviously the choices again. And we want to finish the Ubuntu setup, so let's go back into Ubuntu. And this is the grub loader, which is just kind of like basically the same menu we just saw in Windows, but now it's in Linux format, and it's geared toward Linux. So it's going to automatically select if you don't select anything, but if you don't want to wait, just hit enter, and it'll take you to the first item, which is the default Linux system. And now we're booting. By the way, if anybody has any kind of hesitance as to how it's pronounced, I believe it's pronounced Ubuntu. If some British fuck wants to say it's pronounced Ubuntu, then, you know, he's on crack and I don't fucking care. So, anyway, right, I did username, and this was my password. There we go. Alright, so once you've logged in, and you got the default Ubuntu startup music. So here is your Ubuntu operating system. You are now inside a completely different operating system. Windows has nothing to do with this. So as I've told many of my friends, all the Windows viruses, all the bugs, all the malware, all the spyware, everything out there that's designed to fuck you over is not going to run here. It has no chance of running here. It cannot possibly run in this environment. So you're free to do more or less whatever the hell you want. So if you are familiar with Firefox at all, here's Firefox. Start it up, and this is all you need. If all you do is browse the web, this is one of the most secure environments to do it in, because it's going to obey all the same protocols that you've been using this whole time. So, you know, for example, Facebook, as we all love so much, except for Anonymous, because, you know, they've got issues. But, you know, there you go. You're a Facebook. There's no difference. This operating system doesn't care. The web does not care what operating system you're running in. So there you go. But when you're done, you got the power button up here, and you can shut down or restart. In this case, we're going to restart because we're going to go back into Windows. So restart. And let's go back into Windows 7, because that is my default operating system for this machine. Your machine could be Windows XP, but you will notice the very similar startup menu that'll choose the operating system. Ubuntu will be one of your choices. But as you can see, we're going right back into Windows. There is no difference. So that is all you need to do to install Ubuntu. Okay, so real quick, before I leave you guys, just for the people who are not too computer savvy, you can do the auto login, so you don't have to log in and remember that stupid password every time. You go to, let's see, where is it? Administration, login screen, and then click unlock and enter the password that you just used to log in, and then it'll unlock it. So what you're going to want to do is, you can undo the sound if you want to, but basically click this, log in as, and then that should be you. In your case, it'll be whatever your username is. I like to click this allow button and then do 3 seconds, just in case you want to do something. But for most people who never ever want to touch Linux ever again besides web browsing, go ahead and leave that disabled. But as long as it log in automatically, that's all you need. Go ahead and close that, and then next time you log in, it will not ask you for a password. So that is the majority of what you need. Feel free to experiment with Linux. This is a very easy operating system to learn. They've got an Ubuntu Software Center here, and that will allow you to download free programs and install them as needed. It's very, very simple. So I highly recommend you explore and have some fun with it. For those of you who are concerned, what is this in your Windows operating system? When you restart, you obviously can go back into Windows, but if you go to your Windows XP's add remove programs, Windows 7 would be the programs icon inside of the control panel. You can uninstall Ubuntu like any other program. So if you go back into Windows and uninstall it, it's gone. It'll no longer give you that startup menu between 7 and Ubuntu. So rest assured that Windows operating system is safe. All your data is safe. But you have that ability to go back and forth if you so desire. So if you want to uninstall it, you know how to do it. So hope you guys had fun, and I'll talk to you later.